back to the Mindset RX podcast. My name is Tom Foxley, and Mindset RX and myself help functional athletes gain a champ's mindset. What does that mean exactly? I've realized I've said that so many times at the beginning of the podcast. I haven't actually defined it for you. A champ's way of thinking, a champ's mindset, is a way of thinking that serves you, and is a way of thinking that allows easy action in any kind of environment. You'll notice the limited nature of this. You'll notice the limited nature of the description, because what's much easier to describe is not a champ's mindset. Not a champ's mindset is a mindset where everything feels difficult, where everything feels tough, and where you struggle against everything and everything feels like it's fighting back. Maybe you're emotionally varied, so you could be at one end or the other. You could be very excitable, very kind of engaged to move forwards, but so much so that you don't take the action you need. Or you could just feel lethargic and slow and sad, essentially. That is not a champ's mindset. Not a champ's mindset, again, is where everything feels difficult, where you have to grind and push, and life isn't enjoyable. In contrast, a champ's mindset is where everything is easy, where life flows and where training flows, and where it doesn't feel like you have to work to get anywhere, because you just do. And it's a way of being where you just are. And that is a champ's mindset. And I thought it's probably a good idea, and I had no plan to do that at all, but I think it was a good idea to kind of touch in on that, because so often we are, maybe misled in what mindset is. And I've been doing a lot of research into, I don't like to use the phrase competitors, but people who are also doing mindset work for CrossFit athletes or functional athletes for legal reasons, or just athletes as a whole. And there's a distinct lack of clarity on this. There's a distinct lack of measurability, and there's a distinct lack of kind of objectivity on it. They say things like, this is how you get a good mindset, but they're very slow to define it, and they're very slow to actually show ways to get in there. And there's nothing against the majority of them. I'm sure they're all fantastic at what they do, but I think it's good for you to know that. And I think it's good for you to know that when you are in a good mindset, things feel easy. You don't necessarily feel excited, which I think is where people get things wrong. They think that you've got to have a good mindset is to feel pumped up and is excited, and it's like taking 10 scoops of pre-workout, like you're just kind of buzzing the whole time. And that's not a good mindset. A good mindset comes from perspective, and that's a balance of looking into the past and looking into the future. It's a balance, i.e. the present moment. It's a balance of being negative and being positive, using both ways of thinking to see the world clearly. Again, perspective. It's being aware. It's, again, let's finish off the PACE acronym, because it's inevitably where I'm going. Perspective, awareness, then consistent elegance. It's a way of thinking that allows for a consistent and elegant approach that serves you. And it's also embracing hardship. It's not getting so pumped up on pre-workout that you have to drive towards hardship, and you have to make a big thing of it. And it's also not shying away from it. It's just simply accepting it that it's there, because what really is it? It's no big change. You just got to, or it's no big deal, sorry. It's just a thing. It's just a stimulus. And all you've got to do is accept that stimulus and move forwards. So just to kind of a little impromptu start on what it is to have a champ's mindset for you. The main reason I wanted to speak to you today is because I've been getting this question, and I've been coaching long enough to hear this question hundreds of times, if not thousands of times. But I got it from one of my favorite athletes the other day, actually yesterday, and he messaged me. He sent me an email, and it's this big long email, and he's typically an overthinker. By the way, he is one of my favorite athletes, and he's a brilliant person. And if you're listening to this, you'll know who you are exactly. Yet I think that you'll recognize where we've been going wrong here, and also you'll get the value from this at all. And of course, my reply was as detailed as this podcast is going to be. But a lot of you will feel a similar thing. It usually happens where you have actually, let's do the whole story. My athlete went dark for a couple of days. My athlete, Mindset RX athlete, went dark for a couple of days. Actually, a couple of weeks. He wasn't posting in the accountability groups. He wasn't checking in with me. He didn't book any calls with me. I hadn't seen anything on social media from him. He's not a big social media user, but occasionally something comes up, and I just hadn't heard from him. And I used to get worried when this happened. I used to think, oh shit, this person's either stopped working on a mindset, or they're in a really bad place, and then they're not in I need to reach out to them, and maybe they've even stopped wanting to use my services, and they've cancelled the payments without knowing, and all this stuff will go through my mind. I think, like, why is this happening? And eventually I've learned to accept that it's just a phase that we go through. We will get to stages where we don't want to do things, and for this athlete, he didn't want to do his mindset work anymore. He felt resistance to it. He sent me this big long email that said things like, I don't have the drive to do my mindset work. I don't feel like I'm in a good enough headspace. Like, he used to be very consistent with it, but as I said, he's an overthinker. So he was going too advanced with his mindset stuff, and then it was just like, I've got so much to do. I feel overwhelmed. I've got for example, he's going through personal training qualifications and CrossFit qualifications at the same time as being an athlete and being a human being who wants to develop. He's got relationships to deal with. He's also got a small injury that he's dealing with at the moment. He's got all this stuff going on, and it's a really difficult place to be. And I know that you'll feel like this on occasion too. When you have all that shit going on, and potentially much more, you just don't feel like sitting down and doing your mindset work. You don't feel like journaling for 15-20 minutes in the morning, counting your wins, or practicing with your imagination. You don't feel like doing that work. You don't feel like doing the pillars of mindset work, the core pillars, the core work, because you think, oh, fuck it. I don't feel great. I don't want to do it today. And I've been maybe think I've been good yesterday. I've been good the day before. I've been good for the last 2 weeks, 2 months, and I just can't be fucked right now. And if you feel like that, you know what? That's fine in the moment, but know this, because you usually get some annoying little dweeb like me saying, but all you need to do is journal and you'll feel better. And we know this. We subconsciously know this. It kind of in the back of our minds, deep rooted in the logical part, we think, yeah, sorry, let me rephrase that, because that was kind of misleading. In our very frontal cortex, in our logical bit, in the bit where we process data, we see that and we think, okay, that's very obvious, and that's very logical, and I know that if I do it, then I'll feel better. But you've got this subconscious mind fighting against it. You've got this subconscious mind saying, you know what? I just don't want to do this. I don't feel like it. I'm too busy and I'm too tired, and I just I can't be fucked to do this. And you get that resistance to it. And the phrase that my athlete used, or the Mindset RX athlete, I need to stop saying my, because Mindset RX is much more than me. But the phrase that the Mindset RX athlete used was, I don't have the drive to do my mindset work, so I'm not doing it. And this is what I said in reply. The reason you don't have it's not that you don't have drive to do the mindset work, or it's not because you don't have drive that you're not doing the mindset work. It's because you're not doing the mindset work that you don't have the drive. It's very simple. When you're feeling shitty, the only thing to do is to sit down and get some perspective. When you feel like self-sabotaging and going off your nutrition plan and not training very hard, or not training at all, or going back to your old way of thinking and being, it's a sign that the only thing you need to do is gain some perspective and gain some awareness. And you're not going to do this by keeping your head down and plowing on in the direction that you're in at the moment. You're not going to do this by being ignorant of it. The only way to change this, and the only way to change your state in the moment, is to get some perspective through doing some mindset work. It's learning your language. It's sitting down with a pen and paper and recounting and recalling what's going on in the subconscious mind. It's counting some wins so you feel positive. It's sitting there and saying, okay, I may not have done exactly what I wanted, but you know what? I did have a great conversation with my partner. I did hydrate properly yesterday. I did eat by my macros yesterday. And when you begin to count those wins, that positivity and the perspective will just creep up a little. It's just doing some mindset work. It's instead of focusing on what's going wrong right now, focusing on where you want to go. It's imagining your outcome. It's looking forward to what you're creating with your life. That's what we need to do. And the reason that it's so important to do it now and not tomorrow, or not in like a couple of days' time. The reason why it's so important to do it right now is that resistance you're getting is the final kicking screams of the subconscious mind, the subconscious story that's been holding you back and limiting your potential for so long. It's kicking, like, think of it as like it's thrashing last stand. This is the subconscious mind and the story that it holds saying, no, you're actually making progress right now by doing your mindset work, and I don't want this. I'm pushing this back. What we need to do then is get to the home straight. And the more resistance you're feeling, the closer to the home straight you're getting. There's this 4-stage process that we go through, from unconscious incompetence, i.e. we don't know that we're having these thoughts and we're self-sabotaging ourselves. I don't think many of you listening will be here, or if you are, it's on some deeper thoughts that you're not aware of, some deeper held beliefs that you're not aware of. And then in the next stage, you get to conscious incompetence. You've got all these thoughts going around, but you just can't do anything to change it. And then we practice our mindset work enough, we get enough accountability that we flow into the 3rd stage, which is conscious competence. At this point, you're getting so much resistance, you're getting so much pushback, and it's such a conscious effort to do your mindset work. And you're going, like, the more resistance you get, the closer you're getting to the final and 4th stage, which is unconscious competence. It's no longer a struggle to journal. It's no longer a struggle to think the way that you want to think. It's no longer a struggle to be the type of athlete and be the type of human being that you want to be, because it's unconsciously incompetent. We've redefined, we've re-established a better way of thinking. We've re-established your mindset. We've literally rewired the neurons in your mind to think a different way. We've trodden down a different path in your mind to become the best athlete possible. So the more resistance that you're getting at this point, the better, because you are getting closer to being the athlete you want to be. And you get to this little peak, and you've got no idea whether this peak of resistance is going to be a week from now or a month from now or an hour from now. But you do know that if you go past this point of resistance, this peak of resistance, you're slowly going to find it easier to be the type of person you want to be. And while you may have like days off, or you may kind of fuck up from time to time, that's fine, because we got to push through. If you're getting, the more resistance you're getting, if you may want to take days off, you may want to fuck up and self-sabotage, but if you're getting resistance to the ideal behavior, we know that we're getting closer. And this is what we've got to realize. So when you are getting resistance, think, this is the most important time for me to take action. This is the most important time for me to do my mindset work. There's never been a more important time for me to do my mindset work, for 2 reasons. First, it's going to make me feel better, and that in itself should be enough. But second, I'm closer than I've ever been to being the type of human being I want to be. If you enjoyed this show, because I think I'm going to wrap up there. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a 5-star review on iTunes. I've noted a couple more of you. I think I was at 47 last time I looked. I'd love to get to 55-star reviews. That would make my day, week, and maybe month. And as you know, my mindset is very fragile. I need all the help I can get with that. And I need to kind of refer my happiness and fulfillment to external factors. You guys know that of me. So I need to, if you head to iTunes and search for Mindset RX podcast, or wherever you listen to your shows, go there, leave a 5-star review. And you can also check out some cool new branding work at facebook.com/mindsetrx. So facebook.com/mindsetrxd. And you can find me on the socials at Tom Foxley on everything, actually. So any questions as well, shoot them into tom@mindsetrx.com. And also the last thing, and this is probably the kind of the biggest opportunity for you to get to work with me in a very like very not only time efficient but also monetarily efficient way. I'm looking to do some more seminars around, or workshops, because the Mindset RX seminar has become a workshop, and it's becoming much more it's just become much more interactive, a much like more fun experience, to be honest. It's an amazing experience. And if you want to host a Mindset RX seminar, or if you know someone who does want to host a Mindset RX seminar, you can head to mindsetrx.com, so mindsetrxd.com/host. And there's probably a few of you who are going, I went to this website and it wasn't quite right. It was a broken link and it was completely my bad, but it all works now. So mindsetrx.com/host. And if you want to host a seminar. If not, that's fine. I'll let you off on this one. And I'll speak to you all very soon for another episode of the Mindset RX podcast.